Ah. Getting my tags right on Twitch. I'm gonna do a 36-hour fast because I don't know what's wrong with me, but I ate something on fucking on Friday or something, and my system was just absolutely fucked. My entire gastrointestinal system was fucked from that day, from Friday onward. I was like feeling really out of it. Um, so I'm starting a fast as of like an hour ago. Although I'm drinking some honey chamomile tea, so I think that might have some calories. So I might have to bounce it back a couple hours. That's some good tea. This might be some interesting React slop. Every band, Hearts of Iron 4, strategy explained. Because I probably need to look into how to actually properly fucking play Hearts of Iron 4. I'm just get my stream off on my iPad. I'm gonna go check something real quick. So I'm looking at my tea here, and it doesn't have what is it? The box, the nutritional box. So I'm wondering if it even has whatchamacallit, has any calories. Does, I get that away. Celestial seasonings, honey, vanilla, chamomile tea have any calories to it? No, Celestial Seasonings Honey Vanilla Chamomile Tea has 0 calories per serving. This is based off the official product information website. Consistent nutrition labels like HEB, Eat This, Much Fat Secret. About 2 grams brewed, 0 fats. All right. It's an herbal tea made with ingredients like chamomile, orange peel, natural honey, and vanilla flavors. Well, wouldn't the honey have some sugar content in it? Lemongrass, no actual sugar, caloric additives. The honey and vanilla are natural flavors only, so there's nothing contributing to measurable calories. Under the FDA rules, products with less than 5 calories per serving can be labeled as 0. If you add honey, sugar, milk, how do you get... So here's the question. How do you get honey flavor without the calories? natural flavors such as natural honey vanilla flavor or with other natural flavors on the ingredients, not actual honey. These are concentrated aromatic compounds extracted or synthesized to mimic the floral sweet taste of honey without adding any sugar, carbs, or calories. To get that honey flavor without calories in our drinks, food drinks, here are the main effective ways. Used honey flavor extracts or flavorings. These are 0-calorie or virtually zero liquid or powder concentrates designed specifically for this purpose. Brands like Olive Nation or Loran Oils or Amaretti offer natural honey flavor extracts that are water soluble and work great in tea, yogurt, baking, smoothies, or sauces. A few drops add authentic honey taste with no calories from sugar. 0-calorie, low-fat, calorie honey substitute syrups. High-intensity natural sweeteners with complementary flavors. Provide sweetness and pairing with subtle these options. I'm a little bit lost right now. I've also a little bit of brain fog right now. So I don't know. Is there this tea doesn't taste sweet. So hopefully there aren't any artificial sweeteners in here. Where's the ingredients list? Chamomile, orange peel, natural honey, vanilla flavor with other natural flavors. Licorice, roasted chicory, lemongrass. Licorice. How does that work? So, yeah, I'm confused at how this thing doesn't have any calories, but hopefully it'll help roil my stomach. And if I don't eat tomorrow, I'll feel just a little bit better from a nice fast. In any case, man, what was there to talk about today? Oh, I was going to do the React slop to, oh God, open up my YouTube page. What does it see? Will they ban X from our, from Akkad's Daily Slop channel? So watching this Gotterdammerung, alternate history plus, whatchamacallit. So doing Gotterdammerung but with the fucking Kaiser instead of Germany. Kantama is what the fuck? World of Warcraft, I've never played World of Warcraft. Call them, all right. Louis shows her actual outfit. No, I'm not going to read that. Let's see here. Every band. Hearts of Iron Ivy Strat. All right. Go over
Megagaria. Creating a huge Bulgaria also.
Wrong audio output. There we go.
Called Megagaria is often banned in multiplayer due to Bulgaria gaining an insane. Megagaria. Creating a huge Bulgaria, also called Megagaria, is.
I'm inclined to actually slow this guy down a little bit.
Often banned in multiplayer due to Bulgaria gaining an insane spirit that allows you to gain way too much compliance. In a perfect exit.
Compliance.
An insane spirit.
Daily Bulgarian Patriarchate. From the fucking Orthodox Church. Wow, I'm not even 10 minutes in. Well, it's been 9 minutes actually. Strike the dignity of the Bulgarian Orthodox Church, and that gives plus 15 compliance rate. That's enough. Plus 1% weekly stability.
That allows you to gain way too much compliance. In a perfect access scheme, Bulgaria gets virtually all of the land they occupy, builds up compliance, and then starts putting their territory on harsh quotas, which will result in factories being spawned in out of thin air. So you will get like 130, 140, 150% of the factories in that land.
Okay, so have Bulgaria occupy everything, build up massive compliance with their strat, and then hand everything back.
This is even stronger considering that Bulgaria has quite good MIOs and production modifiers.
Whatever the hell this shit is. Remember, I don't actually have the hearts, the Gotterdammerung fucking... Actually, let me clean this up slightly. No, yeah, Brave 2. I'm gonna have to go back and edit this change this later, but whatever. Also, I forgot to actually play the background video. All right. So whatever the heck this is, I have not touched it yet because I don't have the Gato Damarung DLC.
So
proper.
Bulgarian mills are better than most Axis mills. They are better than Spanish mills for sure, better than Finnish mills, and shit like that. I'm not sure. I think they're slightly worse than German mills, but other than that, Bulgaria has pretty much the best mills in the Axis. Cancelling MIFO builds. As you may know, Germany has two ecopaths. The right side of the German ecopath struggles a lot with consumer goods due to the MIFO build spirit slowly increasing consumer goods. But there is a way to circumvent this.
Oh, this guy's in Germany because the portrait of Hitler is completely blacked out. That's like one of those weird things about the game.
If you cancel your MIFO builds right after unlocking your Institute price controls decision, and then you click all of them right after canceling it, you basically move the entire downside or remove the entire downside of picking the right side eco tree, which is that you will have high consumer goods in the late game, like absurdly high consumer goods, you know? And then you
So more consumer goods factories available to the populace.
have to click like the gold decisions and shit like that. But by canceling MIFO builds, you just circumvent that completely, resulting you into having some absurd scaling into the late game. So this has obviously have to be banned for that reason. Because if it isn't, Germany can, you know, just build mills deep into the late game, go high on air gamble, and pretty much outproduce the allies. No.
So you can overproduce the allies by canceling the MIFO bills. Interesting.
No garrison trolling. If you're playing the British Raj, France, or any other country that controls non-core territories that your enemy has to occupy, you can put that territory on no garrisons as the game begins, or later in the game, you know, 30, 37, 38, depending on whenever your enemy invades. Then, once your enemy later walks into the territory, he will take insane penalties. These penalties include...
Okay, so sabotaging a territory that you know is going to get invaded.
Insane attrition losses and not being able to strategically redeploy. So let me give a more specific example. You play as Raj, and you know that Japan has to invade over land route typically if you are guarding your ports properly. Then you put Myanmar, or Myanmar, you put that on no garrison, and then you let Japan invade or go through that, and as they go through that, they take insane casualties, and they can't really fight you then, because while being in that 100% resistance territory, they just lose half or more of their equipment by just walking towards you.
Damn. All right. Damn, that really is a troll.
And once they arrive, you can pretty much just click them back. You can overrun them, and they can't really do much because they can't even strat redeploy back. So they're just fucked. So for obvious reasons, this is banned in multiplayer. GBP expats. When sending troops as expeditionaries to another country, GBP expats.
Grand Battle Plan expeds.
When sending troops as expeditionaries to another country, it always uses the doctrine of the country that is sending the troops.
Let me hear that again.
To another country, it always uses the doctrine of the country that is sending the troops.
Always uses the doctrine of the country they're sending their troops? So what is the strat? Like, find a country that's doing Grand Battle Plan and bring them in as expeditionary units?
That is for all but one stat, planning. Incidentally, that is also the main strength of Ground Battle Plan. So creating divisions with superior firepower or mobile warfare and then sending them to someone else who uses GBP allows you to essentially combine two doctrines, which is incredibly broken and has to be banned.
I'm not sure I fully understand that. So you get the advantages of your home country's doctrine, but then get also extra buffs of Grand Battle Plan in the country that has Grand Battle Plan that you're sending expeditionary forces to? I'm so confused.
Always engage patrol submarines. When putting subs in stacks of one, always engage and patrol. They will immediately engage any fleet crossing that sea zone. When engaged in a naval battle, fleets take a lot of fuel. So by doing this, you can easily prohibit nations to move their fleets basically anywhere. And with fleets, I specifically mean their surface fleets. And if they do that, you can quickly force them to run out of fuel, which creates perfect conditions for you to engage later. So not only is this very cancer multiplayer, but also very overpowered. So this just has to be banned. And if it isn't, I encourage you to abuse this, especially as like Germany, Italy, Japan. Like you can really create a hard game for the allies if you abuse that. Civ
Damn,
boosting.
all right.
Some nations have better modifiers for their civs, and others have worse ones. The best example for this is the USA. Their civs are virtually useless in the early game, to the point where
They're civs? What do you mean by civs? Back up. What was this?
a hard game for the allies if you abuse that. Civ boosting. Some
Civ boosting?
nations have better modifiers for their civs, and others have worse ones. The best example for this is the USA. Their civs are virtually useless in the early game, to the
They're civs.
point where you usually build infrastructure instead of civs or mills, because your civs just have so bad modifiers on mills and civs. But you can easily circumvent this by trading a lot with nations that use their civs in a useful way. Usually that would be the UK, and a bit later, once they get war
I can't tell what he's saying. He's saying civs or sifs?
economy, the Soviets. If you allow this, it creates a huge economic imbalance toward the allies, which screws over game balance big time, which is why it's usually banned.
So as the United States, you should give all your civilian you should give over all your civilian factories to your allied players.
Supremacy
I don't follow.
spam.
I don't mean to be bullied, but the guy's like accent is really making it hard for me to understand what's going on here.
Fleets only have so many uses, and one of them is naval invading. But to invade, you need naval supremacy. But due to supremacy working in a silly way, the best thing to build to prohibit your enemy from naval invading are empty carriers.
Empty carriers, okay.
This is not universally banned. In some rules it's allowed, but in most lobbies it is. Because, you know, allowing this just creates repetitive and boring gameplay due to virtually just like most nations that do navy being incentivized to just ignore building a navy and spamming out carriers. Like typically Japan would just, you know, spam out like 8, 9 carriers or more, like depending on how many docks they have. It's just not fun, and and obviously if you do this, you want to avoid naval battles at all costs, and you just want to abuse your supremacy to deny the enemy of naval invading or just invading yourself. Cash farmers.
Close air support farming.
AA shoots down enemy cash planes. Cash planes are very expensive but necessary for the game's balance. The allies, for example, need cash in order to push their axis, because cash gives like 30% stats roundabout. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. And additionally to the stat modifier that you get for your attack and breakthrough, you also gain the actual cast damage, which is also quite significant, or at least can be. So it is necessary for the game balance, but if you stack your divisions with loads of AA, you shoot down the enemy cast way too fast and efficiently, which will make the game very silly and slow to play.
Okay. Man, I'm getting lost right now. This is more confusing than it is entertaining at this point.
The way you do this is you create like a unit with just a little bit of orc and defense, and you put it in a tile, you know, but since it has very, very low orc and defense, it will basically never reinforce first or start in the battle. That will be your other unit, and then you have it in your reserves. But here's the trick. AA in reserve still shoots down planes, but you don't lose AA because you are in the reserves. So that is the trick behind this. Your super high AA units are not actually in the front line losing AA, but they're sitting in the back shooting down the enemy cast.
I still don't even understand order of battle in Hearts of Iron 4 at this point.
Absurd rates, because AA trades IC-wise very positively against enemy cast planes, because a cast plane costs like 30 IC, and AA costs like 4 IC or less. and one AA usually shoots down, or like maybe like 2 or 3 AA pieces usually shoot down a chaos piece.
This is just showing me how much I don't understand about Hearts of Iron 4.
Wall tension spiking. Some countries, typically mainly the allied ones, scale a lot. Their bottleneck for how much they can scale early on is typically the wall tension. It is supposed to slowly go up, but some nations like the Soviets have methods of creating a lot of wall tension very quickly, by justifying on big nations like the US, or even by creating and dismantling factions again and again. The biggest problem in allowing this would be that the US gains absurd amounts of production early on, because as said earlier, the US mills are supposed to suck for like the first 2 or 3 years. And if you allow this, also it's not just the US, I must say, it's also the Soviets to some extent, but bigger is it for the UK and some Commonwealth nations like Australia and also France. So basically every allied nation profits from higher wall tension. Not every Axis nation does though. So if you allow this, the game will just be way too one-sided and like a complete allied storm.
Wow, all right. So be a dick as the Soviet Union, just justify on anybody to spike world tension, but then don't actually act on it. So this is for like, this more works like better when you're playing as teams, allies versus Axis.
Mainland France hold. If the entirety of the allies try to hold the French mainland in 1939, there's simply no chance of the Axis ever breaking that. The game is simply way too one-sided for that. At least not in any reasonable amount of time. Allowing this makes all games end in 1939 or 1940. If you have UK air with a US land lease, if possible, you have mass mob of the British Raj, of South Africa, of Australia, maybe even of Brazil, depending on what lobby you play, and when you have French tanks, there's just no shot the Axis ever breaks this, and for obvious reasons, therefore it has to be banned.
Wow, so France is allowed to fall, has to be allowed to fall. That sucks. Alright, so I'm learning I really don't understand Hearts of Iron 4 from all this, so I don't know, let's talk other events. Nope, go to the browser. Nope. There we go, and let me zoom in a bit. A mob of leftist rioters outside Whipple Federal Building surround and vandalize a car on the road. They are then told she's a supporter of their leftist causes. One of them... This is fucking ridiculous. Oh, man, they stuck a dildo on it. 2 dildos. Isn't this just so, like, symbolic that they actually have, that they're throwing, dildos, stick-on dildos at cars? Are those Trump supporters on the other side there? What the heck is even going on over here? Take your dicks off. God, this is so stupid. They're just... It appears a great number of people who are protesting these days aren't actually protesting at all. Oh no, they're protesting. They just have bad friendly fire detectors. Ugh. Oh, this is from the U.S. Chinese Embassy. Oh, this is cute. Oh, what the fuck is this song in the background? You couldn't come up with some Chinese Brain Rock Town song? Do they actually have that many female Chinese pilots? Are these... wait, hold on. This is from China Military Bugle. Official press account for China's armed forces delivering authoritative updates on Chinese military missions. Do you have any link to what the hell this even is? They should be birthing babies, not flying planes. You have a population problem, not military staffing issue. Thank you from the Greenland poster. From Lahore, Pakistan. Account based in the United States, although they say they're from Lahore, Pakistan. Who the fuck is this account? Soaring beyond limits. Courage, skill, and passion know no gender. These young female pilots of the Chinese military are rewriting the sky's rules with their wings, practicing the great thought of Xi Jinping on strengthening the military with their fearless actions. I have to wonder if these girls are actually like actual pilots. They're not exactly some of them like just don't look like they have like an absolute perfect like model's face. So, you know, maybe they're actually, you know, I don't know how to say it, but like if they were maybe actually Chinese models, their faces may have been like, you know, hyperly over attractive. So perhaps these girls are actually like pilots. But... yeah, their faces just seem slightly off, like they aren't as perfect as, say, a model or an influencer might be. Maybe the one girl in the center. So I have to wonder if this is like legit, or did they just get like, I don't know. Is this the Chinese embassy subtly trying to speak out to more feminist-minded people in the United States, like saying we actually are progressive in how we train our pilots. We actually have women in there. I don't know. That's just me heavily speculating. Nobody listen to me. When's the Super Bowl? Is that today or tomorrow? Apparently elections are going on in Japan. Are they happening on Sunday? Japanese boomers for communists. In the Japanese Communist Party Amagachi branch shared this video of an older party member calling on voters not to support Takaichi's LDP. Their generation is working hard to protect peace. Few young people vote Japanese Communist Party. I have no idea what they're saying. So, but yeah, this is interesting that like among young people, there basically is no support for extremely left-wing parties whatsoever. They're young people are sort of ambivalent about the LDP to a large part. I don't think they'll get above like 40% support for the LDP. They may like really like Takaichi. But let me go back to my fucking chat. Go back to my actual fucking channel. Nobody from FaZe is streaming right now. Interesting. Well, Lumi was streaming earlier today. But yeah, being like pro-peace and stuff seems to be a real fucking boomer phenomenon in Japan. Oh yeah, Harriet Tubman wasn't real. Or so John Doyle would like to argue in this video. I'm not going to play it, but I already watched it. But the actual records of who she was probably a lot less. Apparently, I was like asking Grok, and apparently like one of the primary sources that actually recounts anything she said was when she was drawn up for testimony against a private running a contraband camp somewhere during the Civil War, and she testified in that court-martial. So, and the numbers are also really low. Like when you hear Underground Railroad, apparently, I don't know, when I was like growing up, I got the impression like she was taking like maybe like thousands of people over the years to get there. But apparently there were only like maybe 60 or 70 people that she actually led to freedom in the northern states. Maybe there's something who said that there was more underground railroads of that beyond Harriet Tubman escorting slaves north of the border to freedom. It also didn't help with the whatchamacallit. Damn, what was that court case? fuck. I am already forgetting what the court case was. What was the court case? That, slave is a slave regardless of local state bans on slavery. Dred v. Scott. That Dred Scott v. Sanford. I keep on saying Dred v. Scott, but no, it's Dred Scott versus Sanford. The infamous ruling often regarded as the worst Supreme Court history addressed the status of Dred Scott, an enslaved man whose enslaver asked. So that was in 1857. So that was a couple years before. So that was a significant time. Let's see here. Wait, no, the war broke out in 1860, ended in 65. So this is 3 years before then. So I guess you can imagine, like, throughout the 50s, as slavery was becoming a more dominant issue, there may have been an expanded underground railroad. I should ask this question, but I'm not. People of African descent, enslaved or free, whose ancestors were imported as slaves, were not U.S. citizens and could not sue the federal court, denying Scott standing. Yes, that was very important because we had race-based immigration and citizenship behind that. And so, making the point that you can't, Africans can't be citizens and can't have standing to sue, was kind of like groundbreaking. Or, well, formalization of what was sort of like not necessarily recognized at the time because of the laws. It just like hadn't been like prosecuted at that point. Congress lacked the authority to ban slavery in federal territories. Striking down Missouri Compromise is oh, I didn't realize that part. On the basis that it violates slaves owners' property rights under the Fifth Amendment. Crucially for your question, the court held that Scott remained a slave under Missouri law. That really wasn't my point. I forgot about how to phrase it correctly. But yeah, the Dred Scott decision. So, if the point was in 1857, before that court case, if you could get north, you're free. But Dred Scott's case, I guess, made it applicable for bounty hunters to go north to capture people, and like local states couldn't stop them because they're just reclaiming lost property at that point. Oh God! All right, what's this? Right-wingers and neo-Nazis are now trying to push into VTubing. I think they're already there. Grex Sextresmius? What the fuck? Sex streams it? What the fuck? Ralia Laubundwind. Oh my God, is this real? AFD Chan. You gotta be kidding me. Nope, stop. Nope. What am I doing? God damn it. In new tab. Anime Impulse LA 2025. This is from last year. This is stuff from like 2025. What the fuck? Alright, so what was this account? Who's on Twitch? Alright, let me see if this is real. I can't seem to find anything that's actually that is actually that. This is on Ralia Labuwind. Let's see. I'm looking on a different tab here for a second. I found the Twitch. What the heck is this background? Oh, here's the fucking Twitter account. Unhalges Allianz. Jervintur Artag Ralia Art. So wait, I'm confused. What? They're accusing her of being an AFD sympathizer? Recht und Neonazis Dragon in VTubing. Fuck, is this her, like, fucking, Patreon account? She's got a Ko-Fi. I'm not fucking logged in here, am I? Yeah, no. Welcome to mine coffee shop. All right, hold up. What the fuck does this say? Actually, wait. Can I not? Do you not have some translation services? Hello, dear guests. I'm Raleigh Labwind, a seductive VTuber succubus who passionately offers her exclusive merch here. If you'd like to get to know me better, feel free to check out Twitch, where I stream regularly and invite you to immerse yourself. She streams on Twitch. She does... Leaf Wind. Okay, so that's what Laubwind means. This is supposed to be a fucking neo-Nazi account. I'm so confused right now. Oh, Nazi vampire cowboy, get lost. Got lost. I'm so confused what's going on here.
You can like put old clothes into like these containers that were they're like donate. You can like put old clothes into like these containers that were they're like donate to like people that
and they
need.
come and pick them up.
Yeah, but here like people destroy them so much that they had to remove them here in Germany.
What?
It's
From the
Germans? It's not the Germans. They like you can like.
It's not the Germans.
Them here in Germany.
What?
It's not the Germans. They like.
Who is this VTuber? So what, you just got like the fucking migrants of whatever background in Germany are going to donation boxes and destroying them for some fucking reason? Or stealing from them? So I don't know who the fuck AFD-chan is. Alright, let me just search this up on a separate tab. It would be funny if AFD was actually like trying to like have a VTuber mascot. Okay, I think I found... This channel does not exist. Oh, this channel is temporarily unavailable due to violation of Twitch community service guidelines. Aww. AFD-chan user profile. I found a DeviantArt page. And so this lines up with Germany. Blue color, German flag... Oh, is that the generation identity Europa tag? Who the fuck is that? There's Pepe. That's bad. That's on track. Altiparten? What the fuck? Say here. Wish list. 2 million euros. 57%. Merkel. Does that say Merkel egg something? All right, so I guess there is now a more obscure AFD-chan character. I'm gonna be surprised if if the party actually went into trying to. All right, I'm probably lingering way too much on this right now. Oh yeah, Japan's doing their. Oh yeah, this account. I follow. No, I don't even follow them. It's on my For You page, but apparently everyone like it's openly known that this person actually behind this account, or it's. Everyone just conjectures and everyone believes at this point that this account is based in Britain and not actually a Japanese person. I believe there should absolutely no foreign interference in the expression of the nation's contributions. All right, hold on. Let me actually listen to the full line.
私クールジャパン推進特命担当大臣でもあるんですけれども、これを進めるために一番大事なのは予算をどれだけぶっ込めるかというのももちろん大事ですけど、日本の創作物がなぜ素晴らしいのかって、それは表現にタブーがないからで。
What about taboos against the emperor? Not that I'm asking you to violate those, but you're violating other countries' taboos, but what about your own?
それがあるから日本の文化は多様で美しく人々に評価をされる。これをコンテンツを推進していくときに私は
Oh, they just use the loan word content.
絶対そこに国や公権力の表現の介入があってはならないと思ってるし、それをしないことをやっていきたいけれども、残念ながら野党の中には一部そこはある程度規制すべきだという声が。
Oh yeah, the LDP, like, for conservatives who say that, they really are like, okay, don't want to apparently, like, anytime some political party touches on like trying to ban lolicon or something, or sexualized content in anime or manga, they I remember reading a really old thread like a couple years ago about like there are lots of mangaka who end up going to the like becoming LDP supporters because parties like the CDP or even left or even further left of that come out in favor of content regulation. So that tracks from what I've learned so far. Oh, I got shown this commercial once in college. Our professor was black, so as you can imagine, he was not happy to hear the whole class burst out laughing. Is this Chinese? No, I swear that was hiragana in the background. Oh, yeah, somebody made a fucking... Somebody asked Emeru about ICE, and she said, "I'm not talking about it, and you're a bad you're fundamentally a bad person if you need my... You want me to just validate your opinion." Like, yeah. Tell the people off, don't get involved, although I imagine she probably is not in support of it. I think I vaguely remember she's made statements along the lines of, like, oh, Trump wouldn't like me because my mom's an immigrant. Like, a woman who married an American man and then settled in the United States is the same thing as an illegal immigrant. Hopefully she's naturalized, or at least has got her visa straight. Because I do have a buddy who married a Japanese woman while he was out in Japan, and the amount of like paperwork he has to go through to get her to stay, get a permanent residency in the United States was a hassle. And so he really doesn't like illegal immigration because he's looking at these people just blatantly flouncing the law. But him actually trying to do it, like actually having married a foreign wife, he's actually like having to go spend significant amount of his life, his time on a day-to-day to actually help her get to stay in the country freely. So, but I guess once you get it over with, it's not a problem. But it definitely makes you not like illegal immigration. Never thought I'd see the day we'd see fence sitting from the modern Gestapo. You know what? I'm following Emeru out of pure spite now. Good job, Hassan Balllicker. Apparently Denims is, I don't know, has an OnlyFans. Yeah. Oh. Hey, it's Clash Report, my usual go-to slop account. Greek Defense Minister Nikos Dendias. Population growth in Europe is almost negative, so it's clear that we need young people to fill the vacuum. I think the Indian subcontinent with the current population structure could be one of the best choices for legal migration. I should have banked, like... No! You want to turbocharge your population to being anti-immigration and anti-legal immigration? Just take the unwashed hordes out of India, and that's only going to make things worse for your younger generations. Because they're going to be competing for young people's, they're going to be competing for young people, the same resources that young people are that keep them from having families. That is housing, jobs, whatever. There should be a premium, there should be an advantage right now to being young because there's so few of them out there. If you want working age adults, they should be getting a premium to actually hiring these people, not filling them with foreign workers. Europe is just like, they are repeatedly putting the shotgun in their mouth, staring America in the face and saying, we're going to be more powerful than you, and pulling the trigger. You know that dumb meme? Well, let me see if I can find it. All right, actually, let me look it up on fucking Grok. Yeah, I'm having real trouble fucking finding it right now. Nope, that's not it. I can't find the goddamn fucking meme. Oh well. I probably quote tweet it with that. With the overlay of the guy with a shotgun to his mouth as Europe and America as the guy looking on in horror. And oh, look at this shit. Oh yeah. This is what Democrats call fair. Look at that gerrymander district. Looks like a lobster. That's more Maryland's thing. No. Lobsters aren't Maryland's thing. But it's like cutting through this area of Northern Virginia, which should honestly be like walled the fuck off. As one district, or maybe a couple. And the shit Virginia Democrats are doing is like, I mean, Texas sort of did it, but honestly, Texas did it in some way thinking that, oh, Hispanics are actually Republican now. So some of these like majority Hispanic districts that they created will actually probably go Democrat, in all honesty, or be way more toss-up than maybe the Texas GOP had intended. So, yeah. Virginia, I don't know if Virginia will ever fucking recover from this. Like, one of the things they're doing is that they're trying to throw in a tax for fucking everything as soon as they got into power. Taxes on roof repairs, taxes on lawnmowers and stuff like that. It's like, holy crap, you wanted to talk about affordability. Like, you can't campaign on reducing, creating affordability in your state and then immediately start off by launching tons and tons of taxes. Yes, we will create affordability by taxing the shit out of you. The affordability is not for the middle class person, it's for the underclass. We're going to tax you to make their affordability better. Oh. Oh yeah, I saw this earlier today. Imperial Japanese Army collectibles. I'm on my For You page. Let me go to my following page and see what the hell's up. Oh, facial reconstruction of 2,000-year-old Likey Tokarian man from Xinjiang, China. Ancestral whispers. I'm not sure. I think I've heard some people complain that this guy makes their faces look way too Caucasoid. And by I mean that from the Caucasus Mountains, like somebody who's Georgian or Armenian. And like their noses are too big. And like lower face is too wide. Oh, this was a cute one. Ancestral background of all presidents of the United States. What's that one down in the east coast of Africa? That's Obama. I thought this said founding fathers, but now I'm realizing presidents works better. I wonder who the 8 people from whose ancestry comes from France. 2 of the 3 from the Netherlands has to be Franklin Roosevelt and Teddy Roosevelt. And 3 were Irish, so that's Joe Biden, that's Kennedy. Who else? Must be like an Ulster Scot. Oh my God, and 21's from Northern Ireland. Oh my God, that's like Jackson. That's gonna be J.D. Vance in the future. Holy crap. And 15 Welshmen. And 17 Scots. Yeah, the absolute indigenous population of America is the Ulster Scots. A man is going viral for traveling around Minneapolis, blowing a whistle to make jobless leftists think ICE is in the area, only to show up and be insulted by him.
I know I'm in the right neighborhood. I know I'm in the right neighborhood. Hey, what's up, dude? Bitch. Yeah. Yep. You came to the whistle. That makes you a bitch.
Oh, this is so immature. Let's keep it going for a little bit instead of annoying them. He got one guy. This is kind of pathetic. When is it time to have a conversation about how this is Charlie Chaplin piece of political satire? Fix everything switch. Hey buddy, just get fucked if you were even thinking of pressing the switch. Fuck you. I think what's his name, Kunli Drupa, came up with that. Dr. Kunli Drupa is one of the best posters in the world today. Indeed. What's his latest one? Oh yeah, in other news, Starmer might finally be going down in Britain. There's rumors going on. What the hell is happening in Indonesia? White supremacy ideology on the rise. This is from 7 hours ago. This isn't like an outdated tweet. This is bad. Competitive racists never ask the question unless they're extremely distressed. The racial politics in Indonesia is too much even for a UK race expert to parse. For the Southeast Asian, of course, this is water we swim in daily. An Indonesian teenager reportedly attacked a mosque in Indonesia with a gun loader that said, "For Agartha" written on. You've got to be kidding me. The memes are breaking containment into the third world and it's causing chaos. Putting the Indo in Indo-European. For Indonesia. Yeah. Western countries. Indonesia. Young Indonesians are reimagining popular on-right memes with local Indonesian memes and motifs.
To add, crucially, this is not just a wholesale import we're seeing, right? So local far-right communities are adapting these ideas. So for example, Western symbols like the sun and rat are being replaced with locally resonant imagery, while great replacement narratives are being reframed around local majority-minority anxieties.
Because in Indonesia, there are, well, one, it's a very diverse population across a bunch of islands. And, where's I going with this? So you have lots of Chinese communities out in Indonesia that probably have laws against, I know like in Malaysia, they definitely have affirmative action for like indigenous Malays against local Chinese communities. And there's also definitely more Melanesians, like Australian Aboriginals or Papua New Guineans in the western part of the New Guinea island, whatever that is, Papua Guinea, whatever, that have separatist leanings. And apparently there's a rule against Chinese language newspapers. Let me get this straight. I remember, what's his face? Jared Diamond in his book Guns, Germs, and Steel talked about how he walked into a Chinese store somewhere in East Papua and they caught some guy reading a Chinese language newspaper and he had to quickly hide it when he saw he wasn't alone. Isn't there some law against Chinese language newspapers in Indonesia? There was a long-standing set of laws and regulations in Indonesia that effectively banned or severely restricted Chinese language newspapers and other Chinese language media publications and cultural expressions, but no law such law exists today. Under President Shutaro's New Order regime from 1966 and 1998, Indonesia implemented aggressive assimilation policies towards the ethnic Chinese minority, viewing Chinese culture, language, and ties to China, especially amid Cold War anti-communism fears after the 1965 coup and severed diplomatic ties with China from 1967 to 1990, as threats to national unity. Presidential instruction, yada yada, which banned Chinese religious cultural practices in public and prohibited Chinese literature, characters, and expressions. resolution of the Provisional People's Consultative Assembly number, blah, 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 which banned the use of Chinese characters in newspapers and magazines. As of today, let's see here. The bans ended after Suharto's fall in 1998 amid an Asian financial crisis and anti-Chinese riots. President Abdurrahman Wahid lifted restrictions in 1999 to 2000 via decrees allowing Chinese language media, education, celebration, and cultural expression again. Today, as of 2026, Chinese language newspapers thrive as a niche but active sector in Indonesia, serving the Chinese-Indonesian community, especially Tok Tok, China-born or first-generation descendants. Major ones include Jingdao Jingbao, Yinhua Riaobao. They operate freely, though their readership is declining due to aging audiences, competition from digital Indonesian media, and challenges attracting younger readers. Some carry pro-Beijing content via partnerships, but they generally avoid clashing with Indonesian national interests. Interesting. All right, let me go to Clash Report and just check up what's happened the last fucking day. I just like had an off day today. Oh, also, the water was out at my apartment complex. I'm opening up another Telegram channel, see if any news came up. Just blanking out. Oh yeah, some people leaked to Politico that they think the Senate is now in danger from all the drama that's going on. We got the rest of the year to go on, so I'll start panicking later. The UK is considering seizing a Russia-linked Shadow Fleet oil tanker, a move that could escalate tensions with Moscow. What are they going to do at this point? Do they still even have an ambassador out there at this point? Western officials say many of the aging tankers use false flags to evade sanctions and could legally be seized as stateless vessels. What else is there to do at this point? Greenland's foreign minister, Vivian Moxfeld. Greenland is facing difficult times, and I want to thank Canada for being a steadfast friend and supporter of our country. It brings comfort and reassurance for the Greenlandic people to have a close ally and neighbor reaching out with support and presence. Here's an idea. Canada integrates Greenland as a territory because they have a universal government healthcare system. I think it's starting to suck more and more as you know, it's getting overloaded with immigration of all things. So maybe they'll leave and go for Canada as a fuck you to the US, only for things to get measurably fucking worse. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Rasmussen, we're in a much better position now compared to a few weeks ago because there are no threats on the table. We are not out of a crisis. We do not have a solution yet, and until we have final conclusions, we can't draw any conclusions. Okay, I guess he's saying it's not over because we left off the NATO summit with Rutte saying that we have some sort of deal in the works, although all the other parties involved weren't clear on what the hell that was or uninformed. So we'll see what happens. The F-22 Raptors were removed from the Super Bowl LX flyover after being reassigned to operational missions. The original plan included F-22s to showcase fifth-generation fighters from both services, but rising operational demands took priorities. That's total bait for Habitual Line Crosser in one of his videos right now. My tea has effectively gone cold at this point. Creating non-consensual sexualized deepfakes is now illegal in the UK. New legislation makes it a criminal offense to create or request AI-generated intimate images of adults without their consent. Oh boy. People at X trying to figure out, all right, how do we keep Grok from fucking doing this shit? What the fuck is what the hell is this picture of Starmer? Netanyahu's office. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is expected to meet with the U.S. President Donald Trump this coming Wednesday in Washington, where they will discuss the negotiations with Iran. Prime Minister believes that any negotiations must include restrictions on ballistic missiles and an end to support for the Iranian axis. So again, nothing for the people of Iran. So restrictions on ballistic missiles, because that's the way that they can actively fuck with Israel, and end support for the Iranian axis. So I guess that means support for various Iranian militia and terrorist groups across Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria. Message to Iran. Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, and the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier in Arabian Sea with CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper. All right, so there's Witkoff and there's Kushner. I guess there's the Admiral. And I don't know, look at somebody's XL and look, there's Kushner with I guess he's got a pair of, like, I don't know, stylized jeans, and, bruh, don't wear sneakers like that. Get a pair of decent boots. Pair of decent steel-toes boots. As his regime... Oh, this is funny. As his regime collapsed, Bashar al-Assad retreated into sex and video games, becoming increasingly detached from reality. Palace insiders say he repeatedly spurned diplomatic lifelines from regional and Western powers that could have preserved his rule. Even in the final days, deals were offered and phones rang unanswered. Assad unwilling to compromise or accept any limits on his power. Well, there are those points where you're just so overwhelmed that you just like fall in on yourself and then don't act. So, man, people cheering on Bashar al-Assad, like, it's just like, if you wanted to say realpolitik, I prefer Assad over quote unquote Al-Qaeda ruling Syria. Then if you just want to be realpolitik about it, then okay. But if you're trying to like hold up Bashar al-Assad as a moral paragon, like, fuck you. Screw you. Let me give Greek Defense Minister Nikos Dendias. Let me give you an example of how much Europe has let its defenses down. We, Greece, are a mid-sized, maybe even a small country. No, you're a small country. Yet the number of tanks we have is more than the tanks of the United Kingdom, of France, of Germany, of Luxembourg or Belgium, and of the Netherlands combined. Really? Greece has that many tanks? I wonder if, like... Alright, why does Greece have so many tanks? And are they all Leopards? Yeah, one of the largest tank fleets in Europe. 1,300 to 1,800 main battle tanks. You put the active inventory total approximately 1,344 tanks. The largest number stems primarily from long-standing geopolitical tensions with neighboring Turkey. I kind of saw that coming. Despite both being NATO allies, Greece and Turkey have historical animosity dating back centuries. That's putting it mildly. With recurring disputes over territorial waters, airspace, islands in the Aegean Sea, and Cyprus. Yeah. There's a point, I swear, when some Italian research vessel was going to go and start working in the Aegean, and then Turkey told them to fucking leave, and they did. But it would have been totally within Greece's territorial waters. This has driven both countries to maintain substantial conventional forces as a deterrent, including heavy instruments, investment in armored units for potential land or island defense scenarios. Greece's strategy emphasizes quantity alongside quality to counter Turkey's larger population and military size. Many tanks are older Cold War era designs kept in service or storage due to budget constraints, gradual modernization efforts, and the logic that even legacy tanks provide some capacity in a high threat environment rather than none at all. No, they're not all Leopards. So they got Leopard 2 variants, Leopard 1 variants, total Leopards, roughly, so that's about, maybe, that's more than half, 2/3 of their fleets. Emanative MOLF patent series, heavily upgraded with Greek fire control systems, some inland garrison or reserves. 100 TTS patent series, some in reserve and storage. All right, so they're mainly Leopards. So, yeah, he's right to point out, like, they have more tanks than everyone else.
The number of tanks
Oh, he's speaking in English.
are more than the tanks of the United Kingdom, of France, of Germany, of Luxembourg, of...
So the point is, Greece actually has a territorial border with somebody that they don't like. And also, throughout the Cold War, they had a long border with a bunch of Soviet states. Albania, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia, although, you know, Joseph Tito was able to, like, you know, not exactly be, like, an absolute puppet of Stalin. That is, like, a massive border, so not surprised they have a lot of hefty land equipment. I guess you could say is the fact that they didn't downsize at the end of the Cold War is to their credit. Population growth in Europe is almost negative, so it is clear that we need young people to fill... Oh, yeah, so this comment. You are retarded. Oh, and look at the... look at that ratio comments. No. Thank you, Visegrad. We're monitoring. Finally, somebody speaking real talk to European needs, young blood, and India's got plenty. Smart move. Nothing complicated. You are retarded, my man. You got 70 replies. Wait, is this account based in South Asia? Yep, why am I not so... All right, that checks out. Why not encourage your own population to have more babies? Because you can't. The only way you can do that is by economically oppressing women. That's it. Greek defendant, I'm totally subscribing to the creation of a common structure and even a European army. I think this is needed. Okay. Maybe in the past, India was nice to have, but not necessary. Now India is necessary to have. No, India is now an active detriment to you if you work with them at all, especially if you allow their people in, because they have tons of them and they're very ethnocentric. So once they come in, they're going to set up all their little ethnic colonies inside your country and fuck with the local population. Not like, you know, literally as in, you know, say rape, but like economically fuck with your country. Defense is not just a question of production lines or a question of armaments or a question of the number of armed forces or the question of number of fighter planes. There's something much more substantial that will take time, and that is culture. The young generation of Europeans do not comprehend yet the need to serve the country, to serve an ideal, to serve the defense of what has been created by the European Union, which is a space of democracy, human rights, rule of law, and the rights of women. Yeah, that ain't motivational, buddy. Fighting for your individual countries is far more motivating than any of this shit. Let us be honest between us. In order to create a new production lines, it takes years. The existing safe mechanism in the European Union has one clause in it which says whatever you invest in, you have to finish and receive it by 2030. There's no way that you can create new production lines by 2030 and have final object in use. I don't even know what that program is, but all right, they're looking for immediate miracles like that. They need more. For Greeks, India is, in a way, part of Greek mythology. Alexander the Great came from the borders of India when his troops revolted and he returned to Macedonia. So in a way, the relationship with India is a promise never fulfilled. I see the current challenge as the possibility to realize that promise. What promise? That they'd have an empire spanning from Greece to India where they're all co-equal citizens? Yeah, that shit was never gonna last. I'm just cringing so hard at this fucker right now. The Justice Department is struggling to recruit and retain prosecutors after heavy departures under Trump. Staffing fell about 8% in a year, with U.S. attorney offices losing 14% of their workforces as firings, resignations, and political pressure drove out experienced lawyers. Hiring has increasingly emphasized loyalty to Trump's agenda, discouraging applicants and narrowing the talent pool. Some offices are so depleted that the department has deployed military lawyers and formed emergency jump teams for prosecutors to plug gaps. Do not encourage your kids just to go out and be farmers or be HVAC technicians. If you are right-wing in this country, you should be encouraging your kid to be a fucking lawyer above anything else. Have them take an LSAT in their high school and see if they have it, and if not, encourage them to do so. He who has more lawyers in the world, he who controls the nation's finances, I do not care who make their laws. He whose political group has all the lawyers writes the laws. Something like that. Oh, this is a quote tweet about that. Netanyahu advanced his Washington visit by a week, seeking urgent talks with Trump as the U.S. pressures negotiations with Iran. All right. Retweets of this guy. Viktor Orban, as long as Ukraine demands that Hungary be cut off from cheap Russian energy, Ukraine is simply not our opponent. Ukraine is our enemy. Yeah, so he's fighting for cost of living in their country at this point. So, like, screw this whole fighting for democracy thing. I need cheap cost of living in my fucking country. Blatant materialism, but like, hey, that's what voters base their votes on. More than half the time. Ahead of Netanyahu's expected meeting with Trump in Washington this week, Israel's position on the Iran talks in Oman has been disclosed. Israel is demanding a complete dismantling of Iran's nuclear program, of course, including zero enrichment, removal of all enriched material, and strict international oversight. Additional demands include limiting Iran's ballistic missiles to 300 kilometers range and ending Iran's support for regional proxy groups. That's asking a lot. And how will it be enforced? Mike Tyson, my whole experience with Trump is that he's just a genuine, real person.
My whole experience with President Trump is that he's just a genuine, real person. If he got your back, he's with you 100%.
Yeah, he's a loyal guy.
All right, I don't need to hear what was his name, Greg Gutfield or whatever. That's interesting. All right, I don't know. Something I haven't checked in is like, what the fuck is going on with the fucking front lines in Ukraine? I'm 11 minutes over the hour, but let's see here. Russia launched another massive strike against Ukraine energy infrastructure overnight on February 6 to 7. Oh, 6-7. Somebody put a bullet in my head. So yeah, that's become standard at this point. 2 rounds of trilateral US, Ukraine, Russia talks in Abu Dhabi. We're here and here. Energy strikes ceasefire starting January 29. All right, so I guess that ceasefire is over with. So it seems like, you know, every few days there's massive strikes on energy infrastructure. The United States is reportedly pushing Ukraine to expedite the negotiations process and agree to a peace agreement, while Russia is actively delaying negotiations and rejecting any agreement that does not amount to a complete capitulation of Ukraine. All right, this is that might be ISW's bias on this here. Russian General Staff Main Intelligence Directed, First Deputy Head Lieutenant, god damn, so many titles, General Vladimir Alexeyev is reportedly alive following February 6th assassination attempt. Russian forces recently advanced in Konstantinivka, Rukivia tactical area near Pokrovsk. Konstantinivka. Last I heard, they were still trying to fight over this territory. There's Chasiv Yar, and there's Bakhmut still behind there, so the Bakhmut was a big thing in like 2023 or 2022, and they're only advanced this far. But at the cost of how much Ukrainian blood is the question. So Pokrovsk and Mirnohad are completely taken at this point, and they're pushing on 4 there. But holy crap, talk about a snail's pace. So now they're claiming they've encircled this entire area. Acclaimed Ukrainian counteroffensive. How are you counteroffensing from nowhere? Ugh. Drukivska, Konstantinivka, Lyman, Dobzy. Sloviansk. Yeah, so how much longer can this go on? Can the Ukrainians still continue to keep on bleeding for this shit? U.S. pressure on Ukraine to plan for a vote on a peace agreement soon would be odd considering the sides reportedly remain far apart on central issues and the Kremlin continues to refuse compromises offered by both the United States and Ukraine. 3 sources familiar with the matter told Reuters February 6th that the U.S.-Ukraine negotiations discussed a goal for Russia and Ukraine to agree on a peace deal by March 2026. That's not going to happen. The sources stated that U.S. officials called on Ukraine to hold a national referendum on a peace agreement, reportedly as soon as May 2026. The sources indicated that Ukrainian voters would vote on any proposed deal through a referendum and would simultaneously vote on national elections. One source stated that the United States is in a hurry to organize an election. Reuters noted that Ukrainian election authorities have projected that it would take roughly 6 months to change legislation and organize an election under the current conditions. it doesn't need to be proper. Just make it happen and get the result we want. Maybe that's the subtext here. The Kremlin also has repeatedly refused to commit to a ceasefire long enough to permit voting. Yeah, this isn't going to work. All right, I need to read this thing for it. Let me just do one last check. February 8th, that's tomorrow, so. President Donald J. Trump will host an inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace on February 19th at 10 a.m. in Washington in order to push the 27 members of the board, which he chairs, toward the implementation of the second phase of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal and raise money for reconstruction of the Gaza Strip. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is scheduled to meet Trump at the White House on February 18th, the day before the meeting, despite Israel having not yet officially joined the Board of Peace. Oh, this is a drama about Tulsi Gabbard. Additional details have now been released about the highly classified whistleblower complaint last year against Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, with an exclusive from The Guardian alleging that the complaint was filed after a national security agency in spring 2025 detected evidence of an unusual phone call between an individual associated with foreign intelligence and a person close to Donald J. Trump. The call, which was deemed to be highly sensitive and has caused turmoil in Washington over the past week, was brought to the attention of Tulsi Gabbard, serving as Director of National Intelligence, but rather than allowing the NSA to distribute the information further, she took a paper copy of the intelligence directly to the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. According to the complaint, Gabbard then told the NSA not to publish the intelligence report, instead instructing officials to transmit the highly classified details directly to the Office of Director of National Intelligence. On April 17th, a whistleblower contacted the Office of the Inspector General of the intelligence community, alleging that Gabbard had blocked highly classified intelligence from routine dispatch, according to attorney Andrew Botched, who has been briefed on details surrounding the highly sensitive phone call flagged by the NSA. The whistleblower then filed a formal complaint about Gabbard's actions on May 21st. Acting Inspector General Tamara A. Johnson dismissed the complaint at the end of the 14-day review period, writing in a letter addressed to the whistleblower, date 16th, the Inspector General could not determine if the allegations appear credible, stating that the whistleblower could make the concerns to Congress, but only after receiving guidance from the Office of Director of National Intelligence. Members of the Gang of Eight group of Senate, House, and leaders privy to classified information from the executive received a heavily redacted version for review on Tuesday. They have disagreed about the legality of Gabbard's conduct as well as the credibility of the whistleblower campaign, and have since contacted the NSA to request underlying intelligence. What the whistleblower says was blocked by Gabbard. Somebody has something else here. Here's the truth. Biden era, in a new letter to Congress, the Intelligence Community Inspector General confirms the whistleblower's allegations against DNI Gabbard were not deemed credible. In fact, the Biden era ICIG determined that the allegations against DNI Gabbard did not appear credible. Biden era ICIG. So this is somebody from Biden's era, I guess appointed during that time, who's so you would not be politically inclined to be against Trump, or would be inclined to take whatever this drama is and blow it up, did not appear credible. The Biden-era ICG did not inform DNI Gabbard of the requirement for transmittance to Congress. Any perceived delay was the result of former IG's inaction. The Biden-era ICG closed the case and declined further investigation, indicating it was not an urgent concern requiring prompt congressional notification. After briefing from ICIG Fox on providing security guidance for transmittal to Congress, DNI Gabbard took immediate action. Current ICIG determined that this complaint would not even meet the statutory definition of urgent concern today. So this is from the, this is cut off, but this is, all right, hold up. Nope. This is from the Office of the DNI, from Director of National Intelligence, so. So somebody called Trump. Evidence of an unusual phone call between an individual associated with foreign intelligence and a person close to President Donald J. Trump. Oh, so not President Donald J. Trump, someone close to Donald J. Trump. And why am I not surprised that they're trying to guard, like, you know, who's contacting who? So I don't know. Did somebody contact somebody from foreign intelligence contact Kushner or Witkoff? Or who knows who else. I need to hear these names. I don't know what to make of this. I need to know who called who at this point for me to make some sort of judgment. All right, let's get to the summation here. Actually, no, I'm not going to read that one. Speaking reporters on night Friday aboard Air Force One. All right, this is from February 6th. Trump appears to talk positively about today's negotiations in Oman, stating that the talks were very good and that Iran wants to make a deal very badly with the United States. We likewise had very good talks on Iran. Looks like it wants to make a deal very badly. We have seen what that deal is. We have to see what that deal is. But I think Iran looks like they want to make a deal very badly, as they should. Last time they decided not to do it, but I think they probably feel differently. We'll see what the deal is. It'll be different than last time. But we have a big armada. We'll have a big fleet heading in that direction. It'll be pretty soon. We'll have a big fleet heading in that direction. It'll be pretty soon. So we'll see how that works out. People are like apparently confused. Like, what do you mean by armada? The Lincoln thing, Lincoln carrier group is already there. What else additional armada are you sending there? Maybe he's talking about planes and stuff. Just like when Trump's talking about like big details like that, like you just have to like take it with a grain of salt. Oh. Osprey. Apparently one of the Japanese parties like demands or platforms is they want no more V-22 Osprey flights in Japan. Oh, Whitgoff's got blue camo on board. Oh look, fold up wings for the F-35. And they can put an external missile on them. That was an F-18. 72, beware of jet blast, propellers, and rotors. Purple is the fuel guys. White is safety people and medical personnel. I forget what green is. This is what would have been Air Boss would have asked me on my SWO board. Oh, it's Steve Witkoff talking on the 1MC, I'm guessing. Oop, there's a 4-star, and he's got a SWO pin. He's got command, that's a star, so that's supposed to be command ashore, right? Does he not have command at sea? You could not make admiral without doing a duty command at sea. Hold up. It has to be the Trident. What? It's a star? Huh, no wonder I didn't make it in the Navy. So the command ashore is a Trident pin, but the command at sea pin is a star. That doesn't feel right. The Trident is associated with the sea. You should have, that symbol should be the one for command at sea. Officers below flag rank, captain or below, who have had or had command of an installation or commissioned unit ashore or served as a project manager, wear the command ashore project manager insignia. It is one of the two badges known as command insignia, the other being command at sea insignia. That just feels wrong. The Trident should be the one for at sea, since associated with the god of sea, Neptune, Poseidon, yada yada. I remember there was I was in a history class and we were doing Greek mythology. Yeah, history class, history, culture related, social studies. And they gave us a printout cartoon sheet, worksheet of different drawn characters depicting gods. And there was a lot of dispute about who was Neptune versus who was Hades, because the guy who was Neptune, who had an obvious trident just looked evil. He looked very like messed up. Like, I don't know. He had an evil aura about him. And so a lot of people pegged him as Hades just because of how weird he looked. Whereas the person who was actually Hades, who I can't remember what he looked like, didn't have, maybe he had his bident, maybe he had a trident. Or no, he didn't have a bident. He didn't have a trident. He may have had a bident, which maybe some people thought like, I don't know, maybe there's some error in the drawing or something. And we're all told like, nope, the guy with the trident is always Neptune. Man, I wish I could go back and find that, because it was just like, everyone was so confused. Just like, this guy just oozes like evilness. Like, he has to be Hades, even though he has the trident. But nope, it was Neptune. All right, whatever. I think I might have to go pee or something. So close this down. Turn that off. Put out an announcement tweet. I'm gonna, switch to the right account. Oh my God. Oh, Pippa had a crash out for the USS Hornet. Oh no, she didn't have she had a crash out recently about what happened recently, but now she's coming out to start your tax deductible charity donations this year by giving to this boat, the Hornet Museum. 1 full week of streams guaranteed coming up starting Tuesday as we emergency fundraise for new gangways on the USS Hornet. Oh, did something go wrong? Annoying kids on school field trip versus USS Hornet fundraiser. What city is this in? Alameda, California. All right, and I go to my profile, actually do what I'm supposed to do. Tweet out that I'm live. I get one of my pre-strips. Restart Rome for alliteration. All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, but I guess I can, let's see here. Turn off the video. Game capture is capturing full screen. Let me, shrink myself down a bit. Showing a little bit of the shoulders. Fire up old world. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Down the last of my tea. capturing it. What the fuck? That's messed up. I hope this music isn't copyrighted. Quitted horse. Corsair. Alright, looks like I gotta get game capture to... Oh, my fucking box is ever so slightly off. Please excuse me. Alright. Nope, we're gonna go jump into a new game. Game of the week. Syria, Nebuchadnezzar, Carthage. Oh, look, it's Queen Dido. They have iron, starts with ironworking, stone cutting, labor force. Starts with ironworking, warrior, stone cutting, and police. What do the Greeks get? They get drama. The word police is fucking Greek. All right, so they got the Shrine of Ceres. Altar of Aten. It doesn't give me any details about like why Shrine of Ceres of Feronia. No. Why does the Hastatus have a spear? Unless that's supposed to be like a whatchamacallit, a pila, so one of the throwing javelins. That's not right. Shrine of Ceres. No temple to no Shrine of Soul. Make that a one to train to Jupiter. That's so wrong. Julius family. Each palace plus 20. Constitution plus 20. Fabius family. Ilia and Remus. Schemer. God, what is this music in the background? Nation, Rome. Preset leader. Okay, difficulty, custom. And nations start with some development. According to the game's premise that you are a new nation in a world of established nations. AI nations at this difficulty level are inclined to be peaceful, but may eventually declare war. The strong. This is the baseline difficulty of the game and first difficulty level at which AI nations are not restricted in warfare. They will declare war more freely and will use forced march. Tribal raids also become more common. Let's just start with strong. That's where I was at before. Prosperity. Start with blank, thriving, comfortable. AI plays on this level. Okay. AI handicap, AI aggression, tribal strength, raid chance, turn. Number of opponents 5, barbarians only, tribes only, default AI dynasties. Sure. Ruthless AI. Try to nations try to stop you from winning. The closer you get to victory, the more aggressive their efforts will stop you will come. Oh, so like they know like you'll win the game or not. Mortality standards. Characters do not frequently die young. Turn scale, years, event level moderate, succession. Only male descendants can inherit. Males inherit before females. Females inherit before males. Only female descendants can inherit. Males inherit before females. Let's just go with hard agnatic just to like push things as hard as possible. Succession or primogeniture. Dynastic, oldest direct line from the founder inherits. Seniority, oldest dynasty member inherits. Siblings inherit before children. Oldest direct line from founder inherits. We have this whole succession schema, but you know, with Rome, it's kind of like out there. I kind of just want to go with primal. With even, let's see here. Let's role play a little bit here, because here's the thing: the kings were functionally like sort of elected in Rome according to their own rules. Youngest child inherits. Oldest child inherits. Siblings inherit before children. Sure, let's go with that. That is a little bit confusing, though. Siblings inherit before children. You know what? Actually, I'm not going to roleplay. I'm just going to do primogeniture. No characters. Characters' families are removed from the game. All allow negative cognomens with negative legitimacy. Okay, role-playing. No pop-up help when making narrative choices for events. I'll keep that on for right now since I'm still new. Points victory, time victory, alliance victory. Sure, let's keep those off. Points to win, normal, random map, multiple continents. Highlands, inland sea, lakes and gulfs, Mediterranean. Mountainous regions and islands surrounding a nearly landlocked sea. We'll just go with multiple continents. Large. Recommended for 6 players. Recommended for 7 players. 14 maximum. Let's go with large. Number of continents, random. Do it random. Resource density, medium. City site spacing, tight. Sites are in close proximity. City site number, maximum. Sure. Balance, starting resources, nah. No fog of war, revealed map. No ancient ruins, nah. Double fatigue. Units cannot move more than double their fatigue limit. Lock save, no undo, lock player options. Randomized families, random tech tree, no starting techs, random improvements. Show pending critical hits. Indicate any units that will score a critical hit if used to attack. I want to turn that on just to see competitive mode. Prove multiplayer balance. 1 city challenge. No. Allow city raising. Reset random seed on reload. Nah. All right, let's just start. Let's just get to it. Parameter string. I didn't even look that up. First king of the Romans. Cast into a river and left to die as a baby, you were found and raised by a she-wolf. Years later, stronger and trained by your return of the world to the world of man, you were reunited with your birth mother, Ilia. It's 44. Together, your jealous twin brother, Remus. You could have fought tooth and nail to unite the disparate tribes of your people. You have now set out to find a place for your new city. The existing civilizations of the old world do not yet know the power and might of Rome, but they will soon learn. Alright, well. Oh, I don't start with anything. Shit. Albus Mons. There's another. Is that a. That's ancient ruins. Oh, wow. I got gold right off the bat. And olives. That's on point. And marble. And citrus. But I think I probably need to research something for that. But whatever. Okay. Julians. Statesmen. Champions. You know what? Let's change it up. We'll do the Julii, because Jesus sees. Wow. Okay, that gave me a lot to work with. Oh, and there's barbarians immediately. Oh, and a warrior. So how about you? Well, you go here first. Raised fields. Our explorer discovered the ruined, sprawling agricultural civilization. Raised fields, split by shallow canals, suggest that the ancient inhabitants used controlled flooding, allowing them to thrive during seasons of heavy rainfall. Such a site has much to teach us about efficient food production if we take time to heat it. Plow the fields for whatever is left. Allow scientists to study the process. Set sorghum on tile 4851. What? Sorghum. Interesting. Harvest plus 10. All right. Oh, we revealed some. So the one thing I'm taking away from last time is I need to expand early. It's not taking as much. All right, let's not burn through my orders as much. All right. I want to build a quarry here. How about we build a farm somewhere first so we can eat? Jesus. Oh, we have citrus right here. Requires land consolidation. Build a farm. Yeah. You go up there. Yeah, we'll have one settler in reserve because we want to just get that started. Another worker, another settler. Probably another warrior. Then a festival. Can I appoint a fucking governor? Like myself. Again, I can appoint women. Plautia of Roma, intolerant. We're in a budget surplus right now, so I need 2. All right. Plus science, plus civics. So I gotta remember next time. I'm gonna appoint Romulus like head of the army over here. So I get research administration. Minimum culture, weak. Treasury 1. Locks granary. Plus 60% adjacent farms. Leads to free worker and rhetoric. Divination. Versus trapping. Hold up, let me look at this. I got like more things for like, let's see here. Where's land consolidation? Food boost, pasture. Where's land consolidation? Navigation. Land consolidate, man, that's way out in the future to get a grove. But it's right after forestry in all honesty, so, but what's available? Trapping. Plus 20% adjacent lumber mills, interesting. Shrine of Soul enables apprentice acolyte. Plus 1 year adjacent lumber mill. Interesting. Shrine of Feronia. Output plus 2 citizens. You know what? I'm gonna get divination first for some reason. Instead of trapper. Well. Let's just get that out of the way. What I need is grove more than anything else. And then pasture for these guys. Beyond above everything else. There's the Atlantic Ocean. City site, city site. So I should, I don't know. I feel like this one's a little bit more cordoned off. So if I'm going to set a settler out here, I'm going to set it out here first. Temperate Hill. Does this provide cover? Doesn't sound like it, even though there's grapes there for wine. So. Yeah, hold up one second. I'm going to go mute.